Well, as of now, the German economy is in a free fall. I mean, it's a total deindustrialization. Colonel McGregor, who is an American conservative military, even said that the Morgenthau plan has been implemented or is in the process of being implemented. Now, that may be a little bit radical, but I think we are going in that direction. And I'm concerned that if this is not reversed in the short term, that the entire fabric of the German state will disintegrate, because the German economy, the Mittelstand, which was very productive. Germany used to be the third largest economic power in the world. If that breaks off, then all the social expenditures will go with it. And I foresee the danger of a big social explosion and chaos in Germany if this is not reversed. So I think this is an extremely serious matter. And I think that the government, which is now basically going out with Scholz, probably will be remembered in history as a very shameful government, because they did absolutely nothing to protect the interests of the German people. So I think that, on the other side, I'm not looking at that just as an observer, but we are trying to reverse it. It would be very, very easy for Germany to overcome that crisis, because there is a new strategic reality, and that is the BRICS countries, the global south, which is the global majority by far. They just met in Kazan. 22 states are now members of the BRICS. They represent 4.7 billion people, which is 57% of the world population. And they are building a new economic system based on equality and win-win and mutual, helping each other. And if Germany would just recognize its self-interest, it would just say, let's cooperate with these countries, because, they want to have they want to overcome neo-colonialism by, not being raw material producing countries any longer, or exporting countries. They want to keep the value chain in their own country by reprocessing, by developing a full set economy. And for that, they need a lot of engineer knowledge, which Germany still has. So it would be in the absolute self-interest to cooperate on a win-win basis for German industry, together with these countries, like Brazil, Indonesia, India, many others. If you look at the world as a whole, you see that both the United States and Europe are making a big, having a big problem with the so-called migrant issue. Trump plans to build a wall in the border with Mexico. The European Union is trying to actually build more concentration camps around the Mediterranean, because that's what Pope Francis called these refugee camps, and I fully agree with him. And the Frontex, which is this organization to push back refugees, I mean, this is totally inhuman, both of these measures. So my suggestion is, what we should do instead, we should make a crash program to develop the infrastructure, basic infrastructure of Latin America, Africa, Asia, the Middle East, for example. And, like, for example, in Africa, we need an electrification for about 600 million people who don't have yet electricity. Now, that takes probably anywhere 4, 6, 8, 10 years, but one has to start. And then we are proposing certain showcase projects, which would really be game changers. And once you start earnestly constructing these projects, people would immediately have hope they would not want to go all the way through the Sahara, Sahel zone and then drown in the Mediterranean, but they would want to stay home. So we are proposing, for example, offshore gas production for the north of Africa, where you could turn these turbines directly into electricity. More fundamentally, we are promoting the Inga Dam to be built and the Transaqua project, which would give 12 countries electricity, waterways, enough power to industrialize, refill the Lake Chad, have irrigation in the Sahel zone. This has been on the books for 30 years. This was originally developed by an Italian infrastructure firm, and we have been promoting this since all that time. And there have been even made feasibility studies, between China and Italy and the 6 countries who would participate in this project. So that could be put on the agenda right away. In Latin America, you have a similar program with there was just the APEC meeting in Lima, where President Xi Jinping participated, opening the Chancay port. That's the first deep sea port for Latin America. And it could be connected with the Bioceanic Railway, connecting the Atlantic and the Pacific. And that could then be the cornerstone of a lot of other infrastructure integrating the entire Latin American continent. And that would be an incentive for people to stay home, because who wants to leave their home to go into an unfriendly country, where refugees generally have not a good future. As a matter of fact, some of them end up behind walls for years. Like if you look at certain of these camps in around the Mediterranean, it's almost like a high security prison.